What's happening, people? Welcome to the Brain Nutrition Revolution. I wanted to do a video about something that's important to me. Is I mention it quite a lot. Is the gluten sensitivity and the importance that it's got on my own mental health and the massive, massive effect it has on my condition when I eat. When I eat it, and it's such a spectrum of symptoms I get from it. It's not just one. The main thing for me is the mental health and the fact that there was a good 4 years of me eating gluten with my condition, not knowing that it was making the condition a hellish reality for me. And this, without knowing, no idea, never been told it might be an issue to try it. And then I just got lucky by reading one book that recommended it. Wheat Belly is a great book. You should all read it. Quite an old book, 10 years or older now. And it was great. I gave up gluten. It was like a fog lifted, big change for me. So now, a few years in without gluten, I've actually had a few relapses, if I'm honest. Even in the last year, they had one, quite a bad one for a few months. I'm not the best person for spinning the plates long term. I've had a few, but I learned last year, bad relapse, so I'm going to try and not let it happen again. And that was maybe my big lesson with the food that I had to learn. But now I'm heavily into recommending other people just try it for a trial period, because I've been speaking to a lot of people. I've been adding people to my new Facebook group on the subject of brain nutrition, and I'm talking to a lot of people about what's helped them with the brains and stuff, and a lot of people are talking to me already, as I knew they would, about the gluten sensitivity issues that they've got. And it's never celiac. So just sometimes I speak to a celiac, but it's always people who are not celiac, who have issues with it, who found out somehow, same as me, and then they swear by it, you know what I mean, and promote it to others like I do and say that it's poison and all this. And then they a lot of the time when you find out yourself, you go down the rabbit hole like I have. And I've gone further than most, but a lot of people do with the gluten, and a lot of people say, yeah, it's like a poison, you know what I mean? It seems to be strange the way it's out there, because once you start avoiding it, you start to see what strange foods they put it in, and you're like, why are they even doing it? And me as an ex-chef, I kind of realised that a lot of the time it doesn't make sense, and to add something to your food, to your recipes en masse that you're selling to the public that a lot of people can't eat, doesn't make sense to me unless there's some kind of benefit. And I think that's the addictive properties myself, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the brain effects and the negative physical effects it has on lots of different people. I'm always about talking about the brain, as you know, but also the physical effects is huge, you know what I mean, with the gluten, because with the gluten it's attached to foods that wreck the gut lining, and it's a big problem, and it's one of the worst foods for this. So it's if it was that problem alone that gluten gave you, I'd be saying to give it up. Never mind the brain health, and you've also got the blood sugar issue as well with all these high carb gluten foods. And I'd say when you're going to do this, don't replace them with the gluten. Go with the gluten-free foods for a little bit for the introduction, like the first week or two, but then try and phase them out, because it's not healthy stuff. They're good as a treat every now and again, but it's not. Yeah, you shouldn't have it like every day for lunch and breakfast and all that. You know what I mean? It's not. The high carb foods have got to be something that you're also looking at, as well as the gluten. Something to limit and something to be mindful of, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the gluten. So yeah, if give it 4 months is the recommendation that we're going for, and give it a go, because we always say to people, and they can't argue with this, people who haven't tried it, because everyone says, oh, I've never tried it, I've heard about it, I've always thought about it. A lot of them say, but I've never tried it. And I always say, well, you haven't got nothing to lose, you know what I mean? You might have a massive... Because I always give them my anecdote of it may change my life, and it might change yours, especially if you've got an issue you're talking to me about and you think gluten might be part of it. Or it's someone that I see struggles with mental health issues, and if it's someone that I see that's particularly bad, I always wonder if the condition could be improved like mine with gluten removal, you know what I mean? But obviously a lot of the time people with bad mental health conditions, it's hard enough for someone with full awareness of the diet and what it is to give it up. let alone someone with mental health issues struggling with reality and things like that. So I don't even know how I'd do it. But I mean, what I do know is the mental health institutions that I've been in the hospitals, there was a very, very heavy gluten diet. You know what I mean? It's like they knew that it made it worse, so they give you medication almost. It's the most yellow food I've ever seen in my life, looking back. And looking back, it will have made my condition a hell of a lot worse. And yeah, it's big issue. So I think everyone should, every human, not just people with mental health issues, because a lot of the people who give it up, who haven't got mental health issues, who do it for physical reasons, and there's a lot of them who find improvements. They notice afterwards a brain fog is lifted. I've heard a lot of people say that. That they did it for health reasons that weren't nothing to do with the brain, but that was one of the things that they noticed improved. So I'd say to everyone, you know what I mean, like sportsmen and people in business take a lot of all these nootropics and all stuff like that, but they're eating crap that poisons the brain alongside it. I mean, I look at the diets of the rich and the famous and the businessmen of the world, and Bill Gates, they're all eating crap. No one's got a clue about nutrition, brain nutrition. And they're all recommending these foods that are false, no brain nutrition in mind. It seems to be something that's totally forgotten. But especially with the gluten thing, anyway. So with me, it's always about the gluten. Giving up. You'll notice, after it says, there's a very good chance a lot of people notice an improvements in their brain function and ability. As well as the mental health conditions. But they're also discovering now, or they're saying now, that when you're cutting out these foods, there's a possibility that you're avoiding elderly cognitive decline issues like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. So obviously that's a massive part of it as well. And what I always say to people is, why you're always fighting for these foods? You know what I mean? You always give them up, try it out, and if it's not for you, don't do it again. Don't. I mean, you can include them in your diet again. I mean. If you tried them, give it 4 weeks. I'd say max, not max. I'll give it a good 4 weeks, and then have a look at how you feel. See if you've got any benefits, and see if it's for you. I mean, if it was only a slight thing for me, and it made me feel a little bit. I don't know. I'd probably still eat it. You know what I mean? I probably think I don't mind because I've actually personally found a lot of things that improve my mental health and give me an extra 3% or 4%, like just about even 1%. But I've found that it's not worth doing, or it's not worth the expense. So it's something that I don't do. You know what I mean? There's quite a few things like that, and I've kind of just found what works for me. So. Yeah, it's just a case of knowing what your ailments are and having a choice over it. Because a lot of people, they don't know, they haven't got a clue. I didn't know for 35 years. I didn't have a clue that when I removed gluten, then because first part of my life, 35 years, I was a bum. I was a layabout. I didn't do much. I was a petty crime. I was a shoplifter. I was in and out of court all the time for stupid stuff, and it was just a loser, like. And then when I've lifted the gluten, when I took that and cleared my brain, cleared up my diet, it's like a fog's lifting. I feel like a different person. I feel more positive, and everything's possible. You know what I mean? And a lot of people speak of these kind of things, and a lot of people, and me included, say when they include it again, 2 or 3 days, start feeling crap again. And for me, I can go like a week, and then it's long enough for me to get out of it. It wasn't last year. I went deep. It was horrible, but like normally now, like I'll go a few days and I feel crap enough, quick enough to snap me out of it. And after a week, I really start. It's hard to with me when I get that mentally ill. It's hard to get back on it because when you're mentally ill, you don't care about your diet. You know what I mean? You think people are trying to kill you, and it's dangerous. So for me to go long now, it scares me to ever the thought of going back to a place where I can't help myself anymore and being that far gone where I forget about the nutrition and I don't care. You know what I mean? And I'm lost again. I got really lucky last night. It was just the circumstances of life and meeting the right people, reading that book, and everything helped me to throw a rope out of this well of hell that I was in with my mental health because it was bad. I was really bad. Like I'll do another video with like the reports of me sectioning and stuff like that, and just so you got an idea of how bad I was back then with the mental health before I found nutrition. And it's only the last 3 years with steady improvements, exercise, all kinds of stuff, holistic stuff, spiritual stuff, and the nutrition where I've had the improvements. But the main thing for me, and the thing that I'm most passionate about, is the gluten sensitivity, and get that other people should try it, especially people with mental health issues. So yeah, that's that for that video. Give it a go. Give it 4 weeks. See if it works for you. Speak to you in a bit. Take it easy.